I went and chatted with that guy with the boat. He's from Oklahoma. He's way up here in Manitoba. They come up here every year, he says, for an annual fishing trip up in northern Manitoba, so I welcome them here. No better fishing than in northern Manitoba, I'll tell you that. Okay, so we are in Grand Rapids, Manitoba. We're going home. It's about a 5-hour drive to where I gotta drop this trailer off. Remember, I have this box behind me, this van trailer. I'm just gonna drop it off and head to the house. South of St. Laurent again, so we're about an hour and a half or so from our drop yard. We gotta swing in here to our regular stop. We got to do the mandatory honoring of the weasel, the great Lord Diesel Weasel. He's the lord of all weasels. This is where I picked them up in 2011. You guys all know that. So usually I stop in here, not only because of that, it's actually a nice little truck stop. They got lots of good food in there. They got fresh hot chicken and all kinds of other stuff. And there's not too many other stops on this road. So it's a good place to stop, and always to honor the memory of Diesel. For those of you who have joined my channel in the last few months, Diesel used to be a big part of this channel. You could go back into my playlists and see. He drove with me on the road and was with me every single day for 9 years. He lived to be 13. After 9 years old, he retired and went to go live at home and just lay in the backyard mostly. And then he started to have a lot of health issues last year in 2024. So he was very, very special to me. I've never had a dog from right, like I got him at 10 weeks, right? Like right from puppyhood, right to the end of his life, his whole life. He was the biggest commitment I have ever stayed committed to. And I took care of him, was with him right to the end. And now I'm married. This year we're celebrating our 8th wedding anniversary, so Diesel still holds the title as my longest commitment. Once we celebrate our 14th anniversary, then Britt will overtake him and become my longest commitment in life. And then from there on, she will remain that title. There's been nothing I've been committed to for longer than that, other than life itself. And I guess trucking. I've been committed to this job, driving trucks, since 2006, but we won't count that. We're talking about like relationships and stuff. And relationships between dogs and humans is special, isn't it? They're a different kind of animal. They teach you about unconditional love. You know, it didn't matter how bad of a day I was having. It didn't matter how I treated Diesel. I would love to go back in time and redo a few things I did with him, especially when I was younger, before I met Britt, and when I was training him. I think I went a little too hard on him on the training. Maybe I was a little too harsh. So I'd go back and I'd do things differently now, because now looking back, hindsight is 20/20. You can see what worked and what didn't work. And you know, the harsh training, like, you know, that never really worked on him. And it didn't. I thought it would, and you know what? Looking back, I could have done things differently and been better. And can only do better with our next dogs, right? I've taken a completely different approach to Chevy, and I have a different relationship with Chevy. He's 8 years old now too, and oh, he's a great dog. He's a great dog. But you know, not every dog can live up to that, and not every dog fits in with each family. And you know, that's one thing I have to talk about with you guys actually too. I've been putting it off and keep forgetting to mention it with you guys. Chassis, our newest member of our family, she's no longer with us in our home, unfortunately. There's a few issues that presented themselves with her once she got comfortable in our house that were not tolerable. We feel like there was a few things left out of her description and her bio when we picked her up from the shelter. Like, we wanted to rescue a dog, right? And she was a good girl when we first brought her, and she blended in with the family so well. She treated our kids so well, treated our dogs that we had already so well. But there was a few incidents that happened when she got comfortable, and the thing is, they knew about these issues and they didn't tell us. And we were very disappointed with that. She had some pretty severe food aggression and problems with small dogs. We have Wiener. Remember, Wiener is about 15 years old. He's a very delicate little Wiener. He's a Dachshund, and our children also. We have a newborn and a 2-year-old. And turns out she was not good with small dogs, and she was not good with children, and she was very aggressive over her food. It was very difficult for us, especially having a newborn in the home and with Wiener. So a few incidents that happened, she was becoming very aggressive towards the other dogs when it came to her food. We figured, okay, this is something we can deal with. We weren't expecting this, but we can deal with this. We'll work on it. Pretty much a red line already. We were told she was good with kids, but still we're like, she's showing some signs of aggression. We have to put our children's safety first, right? So we're like looking at each other, like me and Britt, we're like, what do we do? Like, we're going to have to really focus on this training really hard, right? And having a newborn in the house, it takes quite a bit. And it made us very nervous already. We didn't want a dog in our house that would make us feel unsafe for our children's safety, right? So we're looking at each other, we're like, okay, whoa, food aggression and this. We need to take a step, we need to think about this, right? And then when I was on a trip last week, there was an incident with Wiener. She attacked Wiener, and he had to be rushed to the emergency vet. He was beat up pretty bad. There was a lot of blood involved, without getting into some details. Thankfully, Wiener survived the attack. Thankfully, because of the heroic actions of Chevy and mostly my nephew Xander. Xander, if you're watching this, thank you very much for intervening. He was outside with them and he saw it all happen. So the story goes that they all got treats in the backyard. They're called bully sticks. They all got treats. And I guess Wiener got confused as to which one was his, and he grabbed the one Chassis had claimed as hers. And this didn't go over well with Chassis. And she ended up attacking Wiener over it. Chevy was in the yard when this happened. And he immediately came to Wiener's rescue and went and like bulldozed Chassis and stood over them, and he ended up getting his shoulder hurt a little bit in the process. And then my nephew Xander was in the backyard, and he was able to intervene and get them separated and get a hold of her collar and call for help from Britt and my mom, who were there inside. And so we separated the dogs. We separated Chassis from everyone else and put her in a safe room by herself where she had some water. And well, I wasn't there. I shouldn't say we. I'm saying my mom and Britt. She separated them from the family anyways. And Wiener was bleeding quite a bit and looked like he was in pretty rough shape. So Britt took him, and my mom stayed back and watched the family. And Britt rushed him to the emergency vet, where thankfully it wasn't as bad as it looked. And he had several puncture wounds on his neck, on his back. Remember, he had IVDD, which is a problem in the back, and he had surgery a while ago already. I think it was about 7 years ago already. So he's got a pretty bad neck and bad back as it is already. He's had that surgery. That was all checked out. Turns out he got very lucky, and there was no serious injuries. But with that happening, and we didn't see that coming, and we weren't made aware of it. We found out afterwards that they knew that she had some aggression problems with food, and they didn't share that with us. We weren't very happy about that, but that's neither here nor there. Whatever. There wasn't any problems, I guess, until now. But the contract we signed with the shelter that we got her from was that if there was any issues and she needed to be rehomed, that we had to bring her back to them. So we called up the shelter, we explained what happened, and we said, we're so sorry. For the safety of our family, we can't keep her in our home. She can't stay here anymore after this. It was a very difficult day. I don't even know how to explain it. It's so hard for us to say that, I'm sorry, we can't do this. So that was not our plan at all. But we have to put our children first. What if it's our kids next time? Like, what if it would be a kid? We have a newborn. Now that we know that she has this aggression problem, we have a newborn in the house. What if that when Micah starts crawling around, like he accidentally, steps on her tail? Well, we do our best to teach him not to do that. But what do we do then? She gets mad. What, attacks our baby? We can't live with that stress and anxiety, and so we had to call the shelter and return her to the foster home that she was in before. So they took custody of her back, and that's what happened with Chassis. So she's not going to be in any more future videos. You guys know we're big dog lovers, and excuse me, I got this little bit of a cough I'm dealing with. But these was my longest commitment. I had full intentions of, I thought Chassis would work out a little bit better, but in this season of our life, especially with young children in the house, and now with this incident with Wiener, thankfully he's okay. Everybody's okay. We had to, she presented herself as a threat, and let me tell you something. My children will always come first. Their safety will always come first. And I will not tolerate there being any, even minor, threat to their safety in our home. And neither will Britt. So Britt had called me, and we decided, yep, she's got to go back to the foster home, and she's going to have to go through some extra training. Training that we're not equipped to give her right now. Seeing as we have a newborn and a family, we just don't have that kind of time or resources to dedicate to it. But she will have to go through some extra training, and we'll see what they do with her from there on. I don't know, but she's out of our house and not our problem now. I hate to say that. I shouldn't say it like that. Not our problem. But you guys know what I mean, right? So it's very difficult for me to share this with you right now because it's not exactly the news I wanted to present to you. But sometimes, the point of what I'm saying here is, sometimes it's just not the right fit. I've had that before in the past, where I have a dog that comes in and they're just not the right fit. I have had dogs like Diesel, who was absolutely the right fit. We have Chevy, absolutely fits in with our family. Wiener, sometimes it just doesn't work out. So that's what's going on there. Thanks for listening to my little spiel here. And I hope you guys don't judge us too harshly for it, but we did what we felt was best for our house, for our home, and for our family. And she is in a safe home, and she will be safe and loved where she is, where there are no small kids, no small dogs, and get the training she needs. That's that. I'll stop beating the dead horse. I think I've explained this 3 times over here already. Let's get back on the road. fun than me. A lot of traffic out here. Look, there's another big lineup of cars. So we're working today. We got to go pick up a load here just in Ontario from Manitoba and Kenora. We're going to take it down to Minnesota. Probably unload it in the morning. Look at all these people. Usually there's not half this much traffic. And I wish I was in one of those vehicles and not in this one. I wish I was going to the lake. Actually, I don't want to be in their vehicles. I want to be in my vehicle. I wish I was in the Tahoe right now on the way to the beach. But alas, here we are. We gotta go make money instead, so that maybe one day we can go to the beach. Sometimes I wish I had more space in this truck. But then it wouldn't have a W9. I could either have a W9 or I can have a truck with a lot of space in here. It works. We make it work. This is a one-person truck, though. One day when my kids want to start coming with me, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm thinking, because I'm going to refurbish this entire truck in a couple of years, I think, or whenever I can do it, whenever I can make. I got to rebuild the engine in a few years, and then I also want to like stretch the frame a little bit. I put an APU on here, redo the frame, sandblast it, paint it, and put new axles in the back. Pretty much rebuild the whole truck, because it'll be cheaper than buying a new truck. And when I rebuild it, maybe I should take this smaller sleeper off and put a studio sleeper on here, and then just paint the truck, because that would give me a 86-inch sleeper instead of, what is this, like a 72-inch? And it'll also give me a second bunk up on top so that the kids can come with. How easy is it to buy a used sleeper for these trucks? I mean, they're all the same, right? I can get a W9 studio sleeper from pretty much any wrecker, I bet, as long as it's in good shape. Throw it on here. Once this frame is stretched a bit, paint it, and it'll look like it was always there. I'm gonna have to start looking around. How much do those things cost? That's what I'm gonna do. But anyways, speaking of the family, it's time to go home. Parking the truck and heading home. It's just gonna be a short little weekend. We'll be back on the road on Monday. So it's Saturday. Get my reset at home, and I have a load in Kenora that's waiting for me there already. It's gonna take me into Minnesota. So I'll see you guys then. I'll be at home for a day. Take care, everybody, though, and thanks for watching today. And I know we didn't get much trucking done, but you know, we brought that van trailer back to the yard, dropped it off. Man, I keep forgetting how easy it is to do dry vans. Back it into the dock, let them do all the work. You know what, at the end of your trip, what do? You just park it, you know, do your post-trip, leave it there. No equipment to clean up, no tarps to carry around, no straps to roll up. Not many, unless you're using straps in the trailer. I get it. There's some, there's a bit. But for the most part, man, dry van's easy. It was nice having a gravy run. Good way to end the week, right? I'll talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody. Let me know, how do I get a studio sleeper?